Hello, everyone. My name is Colleen Schroth. You are in the right place if you've come today for Essentia Foster Care's How to Help Kids in Foster Care webinar. We're going to get started in just a couple of minutes, but we are waiting for more friends to join us. So we're just going to give it a couple of more minutes to see if more folks will join us. I know it's lunchtime, maybe hopefully people are grabbing lunch or a snack and getting ready to settle in and listen to our 30-minute webinar today. So thank you for joining us, and we will get started in just a couple of minutes. All right, everyone, welcome again to Essentria's How to Help Kids in Foster Care webinar. We're going to get started since today's webinar is just a quick 30-minute introduction to this topic. We are so grateful to those of you that are joining today. The topic of how to help these kids, just so you know, just by being here, you're already helping by becoming a friend to foster care and learning about foster care, and then hopefully going on to share that information with your network. So thank you for being here, and let's get started. So our agenda for today, although it is a quick session, we do have a few different things we're hoping to cover. So first, we will do introductions of our staff that are here today on the call, and then we will give you a really brief introduction to who Essentia Foster Care is, specifically in our Massachusetts foster care programs. And of course, we're going to talk about the ways to help. We've actually identified 5 ways that you can help kids in foster care starting right now. So we will go in depth with those ideas and ways for you to become involved to serve this really deserving and amazing population of kids. And finally, we will be sure to leave time in the last 5 minutes or so for questions. If this is your first time using this platform, this GoToWebinar platform, you know, it might be a little bit different than Zoom or other things that we're used to. Just so you know, you have a control panel, usually on the right-hand side of your screen. You are in listen-only mode today, so you'll only be able to see and hear the panelists that are speaking today. But we do want to engage and hear from you, so you can do that by entering any questions or comments that you have into the chat in the control panel. So definitely, as we go through the webinar, feel free to enter questions, and we'll be sure to answer them at the end of today. So without further ado, I will introduce myself. My name is Colleen Schroth. I am the Community Outreach Manager at Essentia Foster Care in Massachusetts. I've been with the agency for about 3.5 years, and in my role, I'm all about finding ways for our community members to engage with our children and youth and find ways that they can help, whether that's helping by being a foster parent or a volunteer, or all the things we're going to talk about today. It's my job to find those people like you who care and find the best way for you to support our programs. And then my coworker can introduce herself.
Hi everyone, welcome. My name is Antonella Liel and I'm the Foster Parent Recruitment Coordinator, and I'm in charge of recruiting all of the foster parents for our kids.
Great. Thanks, Antonella. All right, so now that introductions are done, I wanted to give you introductions to Essentia Foster Care. So Essentia Care Alliance is a large human services nonprofit. Some of you may already be supporting Essentia in other ways as donors or volunteers. Essentia is actually celebrating a big anniversary this year, our 150th anniversary. So it's been around for many years, serving all different types of populations. But specifically, I'm here to talk about our Children and Family Services programs in Massachusetts. So these are the two programs that Antonella and I will introduce. So intensive foster care is one of our foster care programs. It's based in Brockton, Massachusetts, but can license homes anywhere in our state. And it's a very unique program in the sense that it provides intensive foster care. If you're not familiar with what that means, that's a higher level of care for children that have higher level needs. So these are children that have been removed from their families due to abuse or neglect by the Department of Children and Families. But as DCF gets to know the youth, they do learn in some cases that children or youth have additional needs that could benefit from more intensive support. And that is where our program comes in. So we license and train our own foster families that are able to support these youth that have these higher level needs. And that can be any range of needs from medical needs to emotional or mental health needs. And then what we love to provide is intensive case management, really hands-on support to our families and our kids that are in the homes on a weekly basis to support and make sure that that family and that child can be successful. And really success to us looks like our kids achieving safety, stability, and permanency. So that's a really brief introduction to IFC. But if you want to learn more after today, I could definitely be in touch with more details. And I will say that after today's webinar, we will be sharing a recording of the webinar, as well as our contact information and links to more information. So definitely, if you're looking to learn more, this is just the beginning of the conversation. And now Antonella is going to talk about our other foster care program.
Our other foster care program is the Unaccompanied Refugee Minors, the URM program. And this is the one that serves the youth, typically adolescents, that have come to the U.S. seeking for refugee safety and resources, and they have come without parents or any guardian to care for them. Acentria's URM program is the only program in New England that provides foster care to refugee and immigrant children and adolescents ages up to 22. We serve URM youth through long-term foster care, helping youth to learn English, complete high school, form lifelong connections, and prepare for independence.
Great, thank you so much, Antonella. And again, it's a very unique program. We're very proud of both of these programs. So we definitely encourage you to check out the resources we'll send later today so that you can learn more. Now I really want to dive into the ways that you can help foster children. And of course, we are Acentria. We're a private foster care agency with our own unique programs. But all of these ways are really ways you can help all foster children in our state. Actually, next month is Foster Care Awareness Month, where we take time to really spread this information. So I'll share with you today that in Massachusetts, there's approximately 430, or that's in the United States. In the United States, there's approximately 430,000 children in foster care across the country. In Massachusetts, it's around 10,000. So this really is a program, foster care. The concept of foster care is impacting thousands of families and thousands of children in our communities. And it's really an underserved population. And I think our community is really trying to spread awareness so that these kids can have the resources that they need to be successful. And so that's why I'm so grateful to you all being here today and wanting to help in whatever way that you can for these children and teens, really who are ages 0 to 22 in our state. So children of all ages, all races, all backgrounds that need support. So the first way that you can support foster youth is really the most urgent need, and that is to become a foster parent. Now, I realize that's a big ask. Being a foster parent is the commitment of being a parent, of being a permanent connection for a young person, even if they're only in your home for a short time or for a few years. So if any of you out there are interested in being a foster parent, I would love to continue the conversation, and so would Antonella, to talk with you one-on-one on the phone and speak more to all the different pieces that go into being a foster parent. But even if you're not right for being a foster parent, you might know somebody who is. So a great way to help is also just to let people know that there is an urgent need for foster homes. I don't know if everyone realizes that. Actually, in recent years, the number of children entering foster care has increased, while the number of foster homes has decreased. So we are actually in a crisis in Massachusetts. And the reality is that there are children sleeping in DCF offices in some extreme cases because there is no homes for them to go to. So that's why I really wanted to raise this up today, and definitely tell your friends that fact, because that does help. Talking about foster care helps children in foster care. So that's really the first way. But there are so many more ways beyond being a foster parent. So our number 2 way to help children in foster care is to volunteer. We do have a variety of volunteer opportunities at Essentia Foster Care, which I coordinate at this time. We have a need for both tutors and mentors that could interact one-on-one with our youth. Usually this is a service provided to some of our older kids, so kids that are adolescents and approaching young adulthood and really trying to build those independent skills. So we do have mentors that might meet with youth in the community, maybe teach them how to use public transportation, or you know, invite them over for a nice meal and really become a community connection for them. For tutoring, our tutoring program is currently online, so it's actually really easy to become involved as an online tutor. And you don't have to be a professional tutor, even if, excuse me, even if it's your first time tutoring. Many of our youth in the URM, the Unaccompanied Refugee Minors Program, are learning English. So even just volunteering to help practice English with a young person is a valuable use of your time and a great help to our kids. So if you're interested in either of these opportunities, definitely get in touch with us and I can help you become an approved volunteer. The third way that you can become involved, maybe you don't have the time to volunteer and you aren't ready for the commitment of being a foster parent. So we are a nonprofit and we do accept financial contributions. And that is a really amazing impact, what financial contributions to our agency can do for a young person. So at this time, we have actually started a youth scholarship fund for children in all of our foster care programs. So we announced it on Giving Tuesday, and we're continuing to welcome donations for scholarships for our young people. So these are youth, adolescents in foster care that have, it's really exciting. They've successfully completed high school, which is a great accomplishment for these young people to be continuing their education. But unfortunately, there are barriers to higher education. In the Unaccompanied Refugee Minors Program, for example, because the youth are immigrants working on their immigration status with an attorney, not all of them qualify for the different types of financial aid that other kids their age would qualify for. And if you can imagine coming as a young person to this country without any family or parents to help you, it's very difficult for these youth to finance their education on their own. So this scholarship fund makes a really huge impact on being able to bridge that gap while the youth await their full legal status of getting their green card in most cases. So if any of you are interested in donating, that would have a lasting impact on a young person's life to be able to actually start their further education and really take big steps towards their career goals. So we will be sending out more information about that scholarship fund after today. All right, and moving right along here, our fourth way to help is to donate a needed item. So maybe you aren't looking to donate financially, but you have items that you think would be worthwhile for donating. So Essentia Foster Care does accept donations. We accept donations of gently used items in certain categories and circumstances, Or we have an Amazon wish list where folks can donate through Amazon, really easy, click of a button, and donate our most needed items that will ship directly to our office so that our case managers can open those packages and bring them right into the homes of the kids. So common items that we need are school supplies, backpacks. We also have a lot of youth, like those kids going off to college for the first time, who need more independent living supplies. So laundry detergents or, you know, small furniture items for their dorm room, you know, things like that. So we do accept some donations. We also have some youth that become parents for the first time. We do have at Essentia a teen parenting programs. So we also have some young mothers that are in need of baby supplies, whether it's diapers, wipes, anything that you would give at a baby shower, essentially. So if you're interested in helping youth in that way, it's a very concrete way, and our youth gets so excited to receive those items. And it really does help, especially for those young mothers or for those kids moving into their first dorm or their first apartment. All right, and finally, the final way to help is to help us spread the word. So I've said it a few times today, and I really do think this makes a difference. Essentia is a nonprofit. We don't have $1 million for a Super Bowl commercial to tell everyone about our youth and our needs. So it's really people like you out in the community who can make a difference, even just by sharing today's webinar with a friend. As I mentioned, you'll get an email today with follow-up resources and the recording to today, so you can forward that to friends. You could host a book club and read a book about foster care to help educate your friends and yourself. There's some great books I could recommend if you're interested in learning more about foster care experiences, even from people who have grown up in the Massachusetts foster care system. And so spreading the word, there's a lot of ways you can do that. We do have social media at Essentia. We have a Facebook page, an Instagram page, a Twitter, a LinkedIn, so you can share our posts with your networks. Every Friday, we call it Foster Care Friday, and we post information about current events or facts of our foster care programs. And excuse me, my computer is just giving a quick notification. So yeah, you can definitely share on social media any of our posts and we are on Facebook or Instagram. You can find us by searching for Essentia. And then finally, I think just through word of mouth and through talking with friends in the community about what you've learned today about foster care, no matter how brief. And also, if there's folks out there that you know that you think would be good foster parents, we would love you to refer them to us. You can give them my name, my contact information, and I would be happy to speak with them. So we are about halfway through our time, and I kind of flew through some of those ways to help because I really want to hear from you all and what you're looking for and what questions that you have. So at this time, I'd love to open it up time for Q&A. So as I mentioned, you do have a chat in your control panel to the right-hand side of your screen where you can type a message. I'm going to say a quick hello so you can see where that is. And definitely, if you have any questions for us today, please send in a question. So I'll give you guys a couple of minutes to send in any questions that you have about the opportunities we discussed today. Okay, so there is a frequently asked question about our volunteer opportunities. So just to speak to that a little bit more, I'll go back to our volunteer slide. For the tutoring, it is fully online at this time. However, we are approaching the end of the school year. So for our college students, they're in finals right now. Our high school students, you know, they've completed MCAS, I believe, and they're approaching, you know, the end of the school year in June. So it's a bit of a tricky time to match tutors. So more likely what we would do is have you over the summer get enrolled as a tutor so that way you would be ready to go and volunteer in the fall. So it might be a little bit of a wait before you can be matched as a tutor, just because of the timing in the school year. And at this time, we are doing it fully online because in a lot of cases, we have tutors that live in different locations than our kids, and it's actually easier for them to connect online in a lot of cases. Okay. So another question has come in from Giovanni. Thank you, Giovanni. Welcome. You had said, personally, I would like to be a foster parent. Professionally, how can I better support foster care students? I work in higher ed as a student success generalist. Wow, that is a great question. And first of all, I love that you're interested in being a foster parent. Definitely let me know if you have questions specific to the steps involved in that process or becoming licensed and how that works in Massachusetts. And here at Essentia, we do license our own foster homes. So we're able to do the full application process with our interested parents. But professionally speaking, I suppose it depends. It's hard for me to know without knowing more about your role in higher education. But I think really advocating at the school level, like I don't know what school, what institution that you work at, but I know at Framingham State, where I attended, they actually realized that there were some students that were struggling with homelessness and food insecurity. So they actually started like a small food pantry at Framingham State where the students could access like no questions asked, and they started like a small food pantry. I think they also had winter coats during the winter, so that students could kind of anonymously come and take those types of items. So that's not just relevant to foster youth, but to all kinds of kids in the higher education setting that might be struggling, might not have the benefits of the privileges and the financial capacity that other students do. So I'd be curious to hear if your institution has a program like that. And I think advocating for that and getting something started like that really benefits a lot of lower income students, including foster youth. Other than that, I guess just if you interact directly with students and you learn that they're a foster youth, just checking in with them, seeing how they're doing, and being a caring adult in their life. So really, that's kind of the business that I'm in, is the business of caring adults. And Harvard actually did a study that found that really the difference in a child's life is having one caring adult, and that is what helps youth to be successful. So if you can be that caring adult for a young person, that really does make a difference, even if it's in like an academic advisor setting where you're just really helping them and giving them advice and showing them, you know, that the options available to them in their future, and to be encouraging and give that encouragement that yes, they can do it. And yes, if they want to go to med school, yes, they can do it, and you'll help them in whatever way that you can. So professionally, that's kind of how I would answer your question. So it was a long answer, but it was a very great question. So I hope that that helps. Any other questions at this time? Right. Oh, here is another. Yeah, and so you did share that you work at Quinsig. Yeah, we have a lot of students that go to Quinsig. So that's awesome. In a mix of financial aid and advising, you do have a food pantry. Amazing. Yeah, and I think in your advising role, that's really where that would come in. And advocating with your colleagues too. I mean, you might have colleagues that aren't as aware of the needs of foster youth. And I think when you work in higher education, and when you work just with young people in general, like you should know some basic facts about foster care in the system if you're going to be interacting with young people, since it does impact, you know, a significant population of youth. Okay, great. Well, I haven't seen any additional questions come in, so it is a little bit early, but I know our time is all very valuable, and it's a very busy time of year with the warmer weather approaching. So I thank you all so much for being here today, for listening and learning. As I've said, I truly believe that just by being here today, you are helping. So thank you for your time and attention. Please look out for our emails. And yeah, I think officially I want to welcome you as an official friend of foster care to Accentria. That's what we are starting to call all of the community members like you that actually take the time to learn about this topic. So thank you for being a friend to foster care in all the ways that I'm sure you already have just by being here today. And yeah, so stay in touch and have a great day, everyone. Thank you.